because that threat is over now, because of Russia being practically described as a powerful influence inhibiting the thought processes of the West, they no longer need such a morality. And they are coming out of it very nakedly now, more and more. With the passage of time, they are admitting there is no need of such morality. All that would decide our policies would be what is for the national interest of the group or the country. So this is the Bosnian situation as compared to the Iraqi situation. As far as the predictions of the Holy Quran or traditions of the Holy Founder of Islam are concerned, the end of the world is to be seen in a completely different context than what is normally understood. What I have understood from the Quran is this, that this mankind will come to an end in the sense that it will no longer be a factor and will be considered as belonging to the past ages. A new type of life will emerge. A new species will conquer the world. And that species will be better equipped and better talented than the human beings as we know them today. This is a very clear, unambiguous message of the Holy Quran, repeatedly delivered in so many verses. So when we think of the end of the world, in fact we are talking, of course there will be an end of the world, but that end will come much, much later. We are talking of maybe millions of years, maybe a billion years or so. Because the time for the physical destruction of the world has not yet reached. The making of the atoms and molecules have an inherent message as to when they should come to an end. And that message has been read by the scientists, and they know that their age is yet to prolong for a very, very long period. So how can this world be destroyed of all life and continue to remain as such, purposelessly and meaninglessly? So from that I infer that the time for the population of this world is not over, will not be over within a foreseeable or even a more distant future. What would happen would be that this mankind would be written off. And this can only be done if the plan of creation is achieved in full consummation. If the Holy Prophet ﷺ was truly the universal prophet, as we believe, and truly he was the universal prophet, if he stood at the summit of religions with Islam in his hand, then the message will be served and the plan of things will be consummated when the entire world as a whole, not in totality, but the entire world in the sense that the majority of the people would accept Islam. When Islam would be the predominant religion, let's say, of the whole world. When this happens, and then the decay begins, which is bound to follow. Nobody can stop that process of decay. Then Islam would have reached its summit, would have delivered its message, would have created those moral changes in the system and individual life for which it is created. Then when man abandons them again, rejects them, and reverts to its previous immoral state, then the man will be written off as such. The plan has been completed, and the pawns which are moved on this plan have done their job, and they are no more needed. So one game is over, that sort of thing. And that I can infer from various verses of the Quran, but also from the general conduct, or let me say general sunnah of God. The word conduct is not the right word for the sunnah. Sunnah means God's consistent practice. In a given situation, He reacts in a certain way, and that reaction never changes. In that given situation, whenever it is repeated, He would always react in the same manner. That is called sunnah. So I am talking of the sunnah now. Study of sunnah from the Quran leads me to believe that when a people accepted the message and rejected it afterwards, they were written off in the sense that they were relegated to the past and new religions came and took over. And gradually they were pushed to comparative unimportance, and gradually, they were sort of turned into minorities or less important things, and slowly they faded away. This is the past history of religion as we study from the various religious experiments in the past. And if mankind rejects a message, then God takes His blessing away from that mankind. He sometimes lets it continue to live a sort of vegetable life, but not a meaningful life. Then God is no longer interested in such people's affairs with justices and fair play. They become irrelevant. If they commit injustice, they suffer from that injustice as a natural consequence of that. But God does not seem to come into play. So these are people who are permitted to go and be destroyed as they please. God is no longer interested in them. And sometimes they are totally destroyed when they reject a message finally, like the people of Noah. So there are two types of sunnahs which we observe from the study of the history of religion. What will happen to mankind if it, having once accepted Islam as the final religion in the world for the mankind, what would happen to them if they reject it after having accepted it? No new religion can be revealed. So there is no justification in permitting them to continue. The permission to continue is given to the previous peoples, to my understanding, is because there were new hopes yet to come for them. For instance, the Jews can be relegated to history, all right, but that happened at the time of Jesus Christ, but still there was new hope in Hadhrat Muhammad's advent. And we know many Jews started joining Islam and they were saved. So there was some justification in their survival. Then Ahmadiyyat came, and those Jews who were almost written off, again they had a new chance of catching a train from a different station maybe, but they still had a chance. But what about that scenario which we are considering now? Islam has served its purpose, the final religion has come to play and has been rejected finally. What is the purpose of continuation of such a mankind? There is no hope. No more prophet will come. When that happens, then this mankind will be wiped out from the plan of God's things. I believe that doomsday to them would not come in the sense that they will be totally wiped out. For every species in life, there is a doomsday. And we can study that doomsday with the help of scientific observations or studies of various stages of evolution, and what happened to those animals which were left a step or some steps behind. So when you understand that